me a lot of my hometown, Bishopville, South Carolina. It's very small, very close-knit, and so I'm happy to be here today. Thank you, Tia, for this opportunity to pour into our youth. I'm a mother of 8. I'm a mother of 8, and I'm raising 7 children, and so pouring into our youth is very important, and I'm very passionate about it. I don't do a lot of speaking. I'm a dancer, but I just want God to just have his way in whatever way he sees fit. First of all, I just thank each of you for coming out, especially the youth. If y'all were drug here, or if y'all came here voluntarily, just give yourself a round of applause and pat yourself on the back for just showing up. This is something I wish I would have done a lot more of a lot earlier in life. Just showing up for myself, personal development and all of that good stuff, but it took years. It took me going the scenic route when God gave me a mother that would share with me, okay, Ashley, you do this, that, and the third, and this is gonna get you there a lot sooner. I was a little rebellious, I was a little stubborn, I was lost, and like my sister Tiara said, broken. I was broken, I didn't know who I was, and it was all because of father wounds. I want you to ask yourself, especially if you are a child and you're growing up without your biological father, or maybe he's in the home and he's just not present, you don't feel safe around him, or maybe he's passed away. I want you to take a moment, if you are a child, I want you to take a moment to just ask yourself, have there ever been a time that you really just felt invisible? Like, do you struggle with feeling alone? Do you struggle with feeling like nobody ever sees you? That you have to do all the things in order to be seen? Have there ever been a time that any of you had to do the things just to be seen because you felt like, well, my daddy ain't here, he can't see what I got going on. And then my mother, if you're anything like me, I had a mother that was healing from a relationship, and because of that, she fell into mental illness, and it left me feeling like nobody see me, nobody care about what I got going on, and I might just be a burden to those around me. So very early on, I felt like I had to do the things. I felt like I had to be an overachiever. I felt like I had to go to school after being bullied all throughout my elementary years and some of my middle school years because, again, my mother wasn't able to be there emotionally. And I love how Tiara mentioned that there would be times that she would pull her son to the side and say, hey son, how you doing? How are you feeling? Because truth be told, when you are a child, you have to have some sort of a safe space. If not, you're going to go out in the world looking for it in other places. So my mother, being that the father wasn't there, my mother, she was there physically, but she wasn't there mentally, she wasn't there emotionally because she had her own baggage she had to deal from. I felt like I had to overperform all throughout my middle school. Y'all remember signing up for the cheerleader squad, signing up for the step team, and not just doing the thing, but I had to do it the best of the best. I had to be perfect. I had to exceed in order to be seen, in order to find a place of belonging, because my father not being there, I had not been seen at home. I had to go outward to find this validation that I seek so heavily for. Didn't have language for it at the time because remember, I'm a child. I'm elementary, middle school. I got the children rejecting me because my hair ain't done like all the other girls. My mama don't know how to do hair. Furthermore, she's not in a state where she has the capacity to do those extra things that would make my life a lot easier when I go to school. So now you're dealing with someone that feels invisible in the home. I'm going to the school. I'm feeling rejected at school. And then this is the same time period that my mother and my father had separated. So now I have abandonment. I have where my father left me, and he had a choice, but he chose otherwise, and I wasn't included into that. So I have all of these wounds, all of these things going on. Not only that, but then middle school came around where I really started to find value in the things that I could do, not knowing that there was value in simply being. It wasn't anything that I could do at home that would allow my mother or my stepfather at the time to see me. It was still like temporary boy feelings, but it wasn't a real deal. It wasn't a real deal And so throughout my college years, now I'm finding somebody that actually thinks I'm cute. I'm like, oh, you look good, girl, and here I am. I'm accepting that, and I'm thinking like, oh yeah, I am cute. Yeah, I am fine. Like y'all would say, what's one of the words, Kamora, what's one of the words they use now for the girl that got it going on? What's one of the words? Because y'all got all the meaning, the language. Now, it's so different from what it was when we were growing up. Oh. Guys? Hey, how y'all doing? Is that right? Did I use that? No, I ain't trying to shame y'all. My children might think this is embarrassing, but is it T? Like, T, okay. Yeah, so that was what it was. It was like, oh, you T, no guy gonna say that, but y'all hear what I'm saying. Like, the guy was like, oh, you know, he was speaking, but he was speaking in a place that wasn't healthy. So, here I am, now I'm going off to college, so now I gotta get the accolades to bet me, like, to remind me, like, yeah, girl, you that girl. Like, looking at all these worldly things to fill those voids, those fatherless that I didn't even know it. But at this point, I had realized, okay, all I need is a husband, to be married, then I'll have a place of belonging. Have a few children that would love me and see me, and then according to culture and society, I would have been successful. I already have my career. I already went off to college. I've done all of the things. So at this point, all I need is a husband, my marriage. I need to be married. I need to be married. So I get married, and all these years later, I'm standing in my garage getting ready to celebrate one of the most beautiful moments that's supposed to be. We're about to do this wedding renewal, and we're going and we're getting ready to invite all these people and do all this grand event. When at that moment, God showed me like, girl, you are broken. You are broken. You spend all of this time trying to find boy fillers from outward, from people, from doing different things and overachieving. And you really broke it. Now you're feeling all of this rejection that you would walk around years before and say, oh, I'm surprised my father no longer being here didn't affect me. I was ignorant, didn't know. And God says in his word, we perish for the lack of knowledge. That is the God honest truth. But it was in that moment when I began to surrender. It was in that moment when I began to put the pen to the paper and say, God, this hurts. God, this is something I never want any of my children to experience. Because God, you ain't in this right here. I made up a life that I thought would fill those voids. And the truth be told, it drew me further and further away. I'm an adult at this time. I already graduated from high school. And I'm thinking, I'm surprised not having a father, my biological father, choose me didn't affect me. And God had gave me a ram in the bush when my mother stood across from me at the table and she said, Ashley, you're about to make one of the most important decisions of your life. I don't think you're ready. And here I was. Well, I feel like God will give me the desires of my heart if I abide in his word. Now, we backtracking a little bit because, mind you, I'm the girl that begun to idolize marriage because I wanted to fill those voids. And this was right before I got married, where my mother, God gave me somebody to warn me, but I didn't take heed. I was too prideful. I was too arrogant. I was too ignorant to receive the love that he had for me. So, here it is, again, 10 years later, that was the moment that God really changed my whole life. He changed my whole life. It was in that moment that God said, seek him first. He wanted to remind me the importance of putting him on the throne in my heart, not man. Not going different places and doing the things, being an overachiever and being perfect. That couldn't do it. It wasn't until I surrendered, y'all. And this is for the children. If you're struggling with feeling like you're invisible, God promised us that he would be a father to the fatherless. And that is the God-honest truth, whether your father is no longer here or whether your father is here but he's just not present. He promised that he would be a father to the fatherless. And he would also, even in the event that you had a mother that may have not had capacity in certain seasons to steward you, he promised that he would be a mother as well. You don't have to walk this journey alone. I tell my children all the time, you have an invisible father. You might not be able to see him, but he is always there. Those moments that you have something that you wish you could share with your father, but you know he's too busy with work, he's not present, or or either he's not even there, he ain't even checking on you at this point. Or the father that might not be able to relate, God can relate with you at every level that you are at. Whether you are in elementary dealing with bullying, whether you're in the middle school trying to be an overachiever to receive love and validation, whether you're in high school wanting to use your body or be seen as a certain thing that's against what God says that you are, because God says that you are royalty, that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. Anything that you need God to be in the place of the Father, he's waiting to be that for you. And I don't want you to take the sinner route. I don't want you to wait years and years later and go a different way when God is saying, this is the way. Come this way. Draw nearer to me. He will be that Father. All you have to do is follow him. He's waiting for you. When you get up in the morning, you say, good morning, Father. If you don't have a father that you can call, you say, good morning, Father, because it is a Father that smiles every time you tell him good morning, every time you share with him what your heart is feeling. He's always smiling. He's always ready. He's always open to receive from you. And he's always open to pour into you. You might not have a father that can speak to your identity and say, you is that girl, and you don't have to use your body to be that girl. You don't have to be an overachiever and make straight A's. Hold on, don't get me wrong now. Making straight A's is amazing. But that is not your identity. Your identity is who you are, not what you do. Be proud of who you are. Even if you didn't have a father to tell you that, when you open the word, God will speak directly to that, who you are inside. And for the mothers that are out here, for the parents that are out here, it is so important that we do the work, y'all. If we don't do the work, I commend the fathers. How many fathers we got in here? I commend y'all, the fathers that give y'all yes, even when it's hard. I know it's hard, but when y'all step up, it's something about a father that a mother can't even fill the void even if she tried. It's something about y'all giving God y'all yes first and doing things unto God that those children, they're able to have a better life because of that. The biological father is the one that gets to speak to their identity. So I salute y'all for just doing that. Like, none of what y'all do is in vain. None of what y'all got. I love to see a father doing what he should, whether it's a son or a daughter, doing right by those children, because they need y'all, whether they communicate or not, and they need y'all to be present enough to see what they don't say. They need y'all to be present enough to see what they don't say. And for the mothers, how many single mothers out here? Okay, sis, listen, first of all, you might be solo, but you are not alone, because God is right there with you. He said that he will never leave you nor forsaken you. And I know it's hard sometimes raising these children, and you trying to give them the easy way, but they want to take the scenic route. Just remember that God grace follows them everywhere that they go. And I pray that God give y'all grace to allow them to grow and take those routes, because you never know what route they can take to draw them closer to God. Because even though it's so ugly and it's so messy, and I went through my transitions with my spouse and with my business and all the different parts, after surrendering and God showing me his love, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that he left the 99 to come after me. Because I was lost. I was broken. And now that I have the language, he's giving me language. He's showing me, girl, you're dealing with idolatry. Girl, you're dealing with rejection. Girl, you're dealing with abandonment. Now I have the language to get to the root of the issue, to block those generational cycles from going into the next. So they give yourself a round of applause because y'all showed up. And that's a lot, especially on a Saturday. But this is what our children need. And the earlier they get it, the better off they'll be. Or maybe you're an adult and you dealt with father wounds. And it took you are you still working through it? Maybe you haven't forgiven your father yet. Maybe it's some things that you're still healing in. And now you're at a place where it's like, okay, God, I'm tired of carrying this baggage and I want to be free. I guess that ends my little session. Thank y'all so much for listening.